welcome you to the Ray Chen Show. We have a great guest today. Please click to subscribe and like our show. So let's welcome Mr. Dion John Hunt. So Dion has go ahead, say hello first. Sorry.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me on, Ray.
Okay, great. Welcome. So Dion has over 20 years of professional leadership experience. He is the co-founder and the CEO of Improving Life Center. And he leads a team of leadership and life coaches who love and serve others well. They serve a diverse group of entrepreneurs, businesses, and other organizations within various industries to improve vision clarity, productivity, profitability, efficiency, and customer satisfaction, and personal enjoyment. And so let's start with something like, so what's your favorite place to visit?
So, I'm an introvert, so my favorite place to be is my house. I like to be home, but as far as getting out of the house, one of the greatest places that my wife and I were able to go to was Thailand about 9 years ago, and we adopted our second daughter there, and we spent several days before we picked, just explored the land and really were tourists. So it was an amazing experience. But so that was one of our favorite getaways.
So you like to stay home. For somebody that's extrovert like me, it's kind of hard to comprehend. But sometimes I do like to stay home. But just really, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So what is your favorite thing to do during your downtime?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you
What's your
on the
favorite
question.
thing to do during your downtime?
Yeah, so because I'm more introverted, I like to read, I like to journal. I, of course, like to spend time with my family. We like to go out to eat. And when I do get out, I like to play basketball. I've been coaching and playing for almost 30 years now. So that's something I really love doing.
Oh, basketball is really a great game. Actually, a couple days ago, I just watched a documentary about LeBron James and I saw
Okay.
that how his coach made a tremendous difference in his upbringing, in his reaching the height that he is where he is right now.
That's awesome.
So we do have an interview questionnaire, but sometimes I'm kind of maybe a little bit go off the topic a little bit, but we're gonna try to stay on the questionnaire. So yeah, so a couple days ago, actually last week, right? So Dion came to one of the conference we have with Your Home So Guarantee Realty in Monrovia. So you did a great job, teaching us on how to discover the why, and I find that so impactful, so powerful in helping people, to discover their why and also to reach their goal.
Yes.
That's why I want I invited you today to share with everybody. If they can really get that, then that's really gonna be really helpful.
Yeah, it was great too, and with Rudy's team, and it's been a great partnership over the last year. And the stories I like telling is there was this gentleman in the 1960s, and there was a race. I don't know if you remember or heard anything about that. Back then that every country was trying to see who could get to the moon first, and so there's this businessman, and he's down at NASA, and he goes in and he walks into the environment there, and he's being escorted, and he sees this guy pushing this broom really hard. And when the guy starts coming closer to him, he puts it up against the wall. He stands up and he turns around, he whips his hand out, and he says, "How you doing? My name's Joe." And it caught the businessman off guard. and he said basically, "Oh, well, it's nice to meet you. What do you do here, Joe?" And he said, "Well, I'm here to get a man on the moon."
Okay.
So, Joe's position was a janitor, but his mission, the reason why he was there, he wanted to be a part of a team that was going to be the first group to get somebody on the moon. So that's why it's so important that we understand our mission, because what are we waking up to? What are we smiling about during the day? And what are we uh, looking back on the day before we go to bed and thinking about? Hopefully we're doing things that are important to us, because if we're making decisions based on our mission and our vision and our values, then we're going to be a lot more satisfied.
Exactly. So connecting what you do on a daily basis, the mundane task that everyone has to sometimes endure, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
To the higher calling. So since today we're talking about discovering your why, what is your why for doing what you do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, if you would have asked me when I was 18 or 19 years old, my why would have been a lot about myself. You know, I want to go out and have fun. I want to make money. I want to go party. I want to go just enjoy my life. And it was all about me. But then a couple years later, I came into a relationship with God in my life, and He really changed my purposes. He changed my why. Uh, where at one time I didn't really have a lot of values or concern for others, and my heart started changing, and I began having compassion for others. Then, a couple years later, I met this woman, and I was really attracted to her, marrying her, and she changed my why. Why I brushed my tie, I saved money during the week so I could take her out. And then a couple of years later, we had children. So when you say, my mission is really derived on really being obedient to my God, my Father, uh, being faithful to my wife, being there for my children and providing them, and then really serving clients and team members really well at the highest level possible. All those reasons really it's not just about me anymore. It's about care about the most and what I'm doing for them.
So I give our audience a little intro on what you do, but I think a lot of people probably still have question about exactly what you do. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what exactly you do? Because there's many kind of coaching out there, right? So what is it that exactly you can help the people?
Sorry, can you say that again? The video got chopped up just a little
Yeah, so the
bit.
reception for some reason is not very good. So in the beginning, when I did the intro, I kind of explained to our audience what you do. But I think a lot of people probably still have some question about what is it that exactly you do. Because there's so many types of coaching out there, right? What exactly can you help people to achieve, or how do you do it? Just briefly,
Yeah.
Like what you explained to us in the conference the other day, just maybe a mini version of what you do, or how you help them to reach their why.
Yes. So my job now is, now that I understand my mission, my purposes, I really want to serve others, them achieve their desire. I would be able to find who are the most important people to them, and what are the things that are most important to them. That's called our values, right? The things that are most important to us, the people and the things, that's our values. And one of these is to help other people discover what theirs are, whether it's an entrepreneur, whether it's somebody that's trying to balance life at home and at work, whether it's a client that is looking for that dream home. They're trying to figure out, important to me when I'm making this decision, and what are the most important things to me. So that's what our leadership and life coaches do. We really want to serve and care about people really well so that other people achieve their dreams and their desires become more of a reality. So that's what fires me up and gets me going every day.
So, more specifically, like for example, in sales and business, how can you help them?
Yeah. So specifically in sales, if the better listener you are, the better you're going to be able to serve your client, right? So imagine as a real estate agent, you're trying to figure out what are the motivations, what are the reasons why this client is either going to be buying or selling their home, in the time that they want to. And so sometimes we ask questions like, well, what do you want? What kind of a check do you want at the end of this transaction? How much money? What size of a bedroom our house? How many square footage? How many bedrooms? And those are really the top of the iceberg questions. The what questions are really easy to find out. When we really start discovering the reasons why they are important, a lot of times it'll be a person behind there. Well, I want to move to that town at that month in this price range because I want my child to go to that school. Or my aging parents are not doing well, so I need to move closer to them so that I can better take care of them. Or I need a property that has a house and it has a second unit on the other side because when my family comes to visit me, I need a place for them to stay, and I really don't want them in my house. So, when you really start asking more questions and you start really learning how to listen better, and when we learn how to be less salespeople and what we're telling, and we become more servers, like we're here to serve people, we're here to listen to what their heart's saying, and we're here to try to make a match for them, then it's like Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll have everything that you want.
That's that's a short sentence, but it says a lot, right? So, what would you wish you had? So, since now you've been doing this for quite a while, right? And you know exactly how to figure out people's why. So, what do you wish you had known when you first started out?
Well, I guess I wish I would have known the formula. It's taken some years to figure that out
What
because
is the formula?
the more, yeah, the who plus the what equals the why.
Okay.
When we're trying to help people discover the most important things in their life, most people are always thinking about the what questions. Ever since I've been a little kid, I don't know about you, but everyone's always been asking me, what do you want to do when you grow up? What kind of house do you want to live in? What kind of car do you want to drive? What do you want to have in the bank account? Like, there are all these what. I don't remember being a young kid and anyone asking me, like, who do you want to marry someday? How many children do you want to have? What kind of person do you want to be so that when your parents are aging, you're going to be able to take care of them? We don't talk like that in our culture. We don't think like that. But at the end of the day, now we're adults. Like, I'm 43 years old. That's the most important things to me, not what's in my bank, car I drive, what house. They are important, but they're important. My family, my relationships are the most important. When I am now, hopefully, I have a long, healthy life. Be a day when I'm on my deathbed, right? I don't think my question to anybody is going to be, "Hey, how much is in my bank account?" Or, "Hey, can you go check on my house or my property?" Really, at the end of the day, the thing that's going to be the most important are who's around me. How is my family doing? How are my grandkids doing? Are their college taken care of? Those are the kind of questions I think that are going to be the most important, are the who questions. So when you merge the who and the what together, that's, I think, you can get to people's real motivations and their why. And it's different for everybody.
We're actually the same
I would have
age.
known that.
We're actually the same age. We're actually the same age. I'm 43 too.
plus your what equals your changes your why. That's what I've come up with.
How did you find out that about that formula? How did you discover that?
Well, I'm an analyzer, so that's my gifting. I analyze people, I analyze situations. That's why Rudy hires me, because I come in and I analyze team dynamics, culture, perspectives. And so I've been analyzing over the last 6 years. I've been running this business, and I just keep seeing this common pattern, this common theme. And then the light bulb just came on. And when I merged them two together, it really helped me to come up with this principle that impacts business, home, personal life. It doesn't matter if you're single, you're married. It doesn't matter if you're 18 or you're 88. It's just the truth that I've discovered. And now I'm able to serve people better so that they can actually be living on purpose. You know how many people are not living on purpose? It's unbelievable. There's so many people that live with regret because they're not living their truth. And if I can serve somebody to live their truth, then I've done a good job.
Why do you think that is the case? Why do you think so many people, they could have fulfilled their full potential, but for some one reason or another, they're just not doing it?
Well, it's kind of like anything. When you want something, there's going to be challenges along the way. And, when we as humans have two options, the easy path and the hard road, we usually take the comfort. We usually take the easy road. That's just by nature. And let's face it, relationships can be difficult. Um, you know, Sticking with somebody, doing what it takes to serve somebody else, being selfless, it's not easy. Taking responsibility, I think part of that is our culture. Like I mentioned earlier, we just ask the wrong questions, or at least, or we're only asking half the questions is a better way. There's nothing wrong with those questions, but we're only asking half the picture. And probably because most people are not winning in their personal life, so then you get generations, they don't even know how to ask the question because it's not even a part of their paradigm. I have this trophy here. This is what people want. People want to win. People want to win in life. But sometimes we're only winning on one part. We want to hold two trophies. I want to have both trophies, right? I want the people in my life winning, and I want the things around me winning. So I think that I've discovered this when I ask people these questions. It's like the light bulb goes off. It's like, why have we not been talking about this? Where is this teaching? Where is this principle? Why is it not being developed? And I think the people I work with, when we start creating this vision for people, then we're able to help them prosper. That's another way I came upon this, was actually reading the Bible in Proverbs, and it was a king. And it says, where there is no vision, people perish. So if that's true, and you don't even have to believe in the Bible to know, you got to just think any king, any leader, if you don't have a vision for your family or your people, they're going to be unrestrained. Like, they're going to be chaotic. If you don't have roles in the land, they're just going to do whatever they want to do for survival. But when you have a vision for people, they can prosper. So when there is vision, people can flourish, people can prosper, people can enjoy their life. And that's, at the end of the day, what's the most important thing in life? Enjoy life. I've learned that from my daughter that I adopted. She's blind. She can't see. She can't talk. She can't walk. And she's like the happiest girl, happiest person I've ever met. She's so happy. And it's not because of what she can do, it's because of who's around her. We love her. I love her, my wife loves her, and we spend time with her. We take care of her needs. She's so happy. And I've learned that from her as well, that lesson that what doesn't matter. She doesn't care what kind of car we get in. She doesn't care what size of house. She can't even see it. But she does care very much when I'm with her, if I'm present or not, or if I'm talking with her and I'm on my phone. She doesn't like that. She knows. And I think as people, we just want people to enjoy us. doesn't have to be like all day, every day, but I think at the end of the day, that's all we really want as humans. So then you take that to the next layer, a team. If you have a team leader in a business that all they're thinking about is what? Like, how much money can I make? And that's all they care about. Well, then they don't have a vision for their team, their people. And then people leave, right? But when you have people and your money, then it can go together. And I think when we can have both, it works. Same with our clients. If all we care about as our clients is the check at the end, we don't care about them as people. They know that, and they don't want to do business with us. They want to do business with somebody who they see him as a person. Like, do I matter to you? Does my story? I know you have 20 other stories you're working on, but do you care about me getting what I need and what I want? Because that's who I want to serve me, right? I mean, if somebody's going to buy or sell my house, it's going to be somebody that I know they're, and then money's just the reward. Well done. It's just the certificate of appreciation for a job well done.
So going back on how you figure out the what and the who and the why, is there a particular event that happened that made you aware of this difference?
I think it's been layers of understanding. I think it's been life experiences that have led to this. Like I said, I think part of it is through my experience coaching other people and starting to see patterns and realizing that this is a truth. A couple years ago, I sat down and again, because I'm introverted, I just had my own personal retreat. And I drew two circles on a piece of paper. One was like a bullseye, and then one was the outer layer. And I started writing down who are the most important people to me. Out of all the people in the entire world, who are the most important to me? And I started writing down some names in the middle. And then it dawned on me, well, geez, what am I doing about these people? I'm saying these are the most people to me. Well, what am I doing about it? So that was a big life experience that I did several years ago for myself. And boy, when I do that with people, it's like the light bulbs go off and people start putting names. And then you start asking yourself, well, if this is the most important person to me, why am I not calling them? Why am I not spending time with them? Why am I spending time with people that are not even on this piece of paper, and I'm neglecting the people that are most important to me? And some of those things started shifting for me, and then I started serving other people and sharing this with them, and then they're changing their lives, and then this principle started coming out of it too.
So you just mentioned about you. I'm just right now kind of going off of the questionnaire. I'm not following that because I'm just kind of curious of some of the things that you do because some of it is different from my mentality. So I'm just very curious. So what made you decide to adopt a daughter? What was the
Yeah, that's a good question. When my wife and I had our first daughter, we had a really hard pregnancy. And, she's 15 now, and she's a healthy 15-year-old sophomore in high school, getting ready to drive and all that good stuff. But we always talked about adopting. Both my wife and I guess we've always had a heart for underprivileged kids. That's how we met. We met at a summer camp where we served kids that were less fortunate and come from troubled homes. And so we both had that same value and heart for kids. So, when it was time for child number two, we started talking and we thought, well, if we're ever going to adopt, maybe we should at least look into it now. Well, we started doing research, and my wife went on a whole international website and had pictures of children that were up for adoption. And Suri, our daughter, she was one of the first girls that ever came up. And, at the time when we were considering it, I was not interested in special needs adoption at all. I mean, that was so far from my mind, extreme. And, it took months of talking, praying about it. And we really felt like God was asking us, basically saying, "This is my daughter. I'm just asking you to take care of her." And you know, at first I was like, "Man, we don't have the money to do this. I don't even know how to take care of somebody with these kind of needs." And it was very intimidating to me. But we walked one step at a time, and small wins led to a great victory. And we've had her 9 years now, and it's really changed our lives for the better.
So you said, so initially you were not like that was not something that you were looking into. Then later on, as time went by, you changed your mind.
Yes.
What made it? What changed your mind? Like what exactly changed your mind?
I guess it was a process. One, I could tell that my wife was very connected to this girl, that she really felt strongly that we were supposed to. And in some ways, it was like, well, I need to embrace that this is her daughter, and I just got to get on board. That was one layer. Number two, all my financial concerns, we started finding grants, we started finding special needs services. Again, my wife, she started doing research on all these things. So pretty much what happened was it was a process of elimination. All the reasons I thought we shouldn't, they were kind of getting crossed off the list. And then it came to the point where I really don't have any excuses other than this seems intimidating, and like it's going to be a really hard thing to do. And this is going to be for our entire lives, not just, adopt somebody, get them through school, they'll get married and move on. This is a life commitment. And, I'm 43. That was 10 years ago. So I was a pretty young man to be thinking about this life commitment. But I give a lot of credit to my wife for taking the lead. And, but I'm so grateful. I shared at the conference, I actually got healed from adopting her. And that's another lesson in itself that, you know, when we're serving people really well, we have no idea who we're serving or how that might come back to us. Like, I didn't do it for me, but there's just something about when you can serve somebody else, things come back around. Some people call it the golden rule. Some people call it karma. But there's a principle in life that when you are blessing the others, in my mind, you can't outgive God. Like he just blesses you.
Can you elaborate a little bit more that you said the whole experience actually healed you? How did it heal? How did it heal you?
Yeah. So when we were during the process, we had to read a book about emotional attachment, and I had never even heard of the word before. And basically, the easiest way is you cannot expect an orphan to go from their family into a new family and be like, "Oh, mommy, daddy," and just start loving you, right? They don't even know you. They don't trust you. So they have a guard on their heart. And they should, right? Because you're a stranger. So what this book was saying is don't expect people to just open their arms. They're not going to just attach to you. So when they're not, here's the symptoms to look for. Like they're not looking at you. They seem like they're more charismatic with other people, but not at home. There were a lot of different symptoms to look for. And they said, if you see these things, then here's the things that you can do to change and start working on that attachment so that they start opening up. Well, as I was reading the book, the light bulb came on for me. I was like, well, I do that, and I do that, and I do that. So I realized that I had an attachment problem. So by having that awareness, I was able to start working on me and start widening the range of emotion that I was able to experience. And this is a side note, Asian cultures, I'm from an Asian culture. My mom was from Korea. We're very formal. We're very respectful. There's not a lot of physical touch. We bow down to people. Like in America or Latin America, people are hugging and touching. Asians are more proper and reserved. And I think that actually contributed a little bit towards my lack of attachment as well. So I think it was personal, my story, but also I think there are some cultural things. And I was so grateful to have that understanding. It was tough. I mean, it was tough to realize my wife is married to a robot. Like, I'm extremely intelligent and I get things done, but the emotional connection, like, I'm not meeting her needs, and it's still a struggle even after my widening of my range of my emotions. I still work on it. It's not like I just got fixed and now I don't have to think about it or work on it. Like, it's a process. And actually it's a big gift because now I'm able to connect with other people, back to my family, clients, my team members. I can have a deeper level of relationship with people now because I can feel things. And so it was really an amazing journey. It's been and it is.
Yeah, what you said about the difference between the Asian culture and the Western culture. I think I have some that kind of problem to some extent as well. So can you, for example, what's the difference? Like before, how were you acting? Afterward, after you realize that, how were you acting? How is your behavior different? Exactly.
Yeah, so the best way I can describe it is before I had emotions, it was like a black and white TV. I don't know. Did you ever watch black and white television before they had color?
Yeah, I did.
Do you
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about? So it's the same show, same words, same people, but when I started having more emotions and feelings, it brought color to my life. It brought more feelings. So instead of just having no feelings until I get really angry about something, I could have maybe like disappointment or a little bit of frustration or a little bit of sadness. Or on the other side, instead of only feeling like adrenaline, like when I play basketball and we win, or I'm excited, I'm jumping up and down, of emotions in between, like just being a little bit happy or having a sense of pride or satisfaction, or I was missing so many of those middle emotions, and now I experience them a little bit more.
So you you experience that degree of emotion from what experience? From the reading the book, and also from adapting.
So reading the was the first time I became aware that I had a problem. I didn't know that I had a problem. So then I started praying about it. I was like, well, God, I obviously am missing out a huge part of life. And I believe that when I die and go to be with you, you will heal me. But I'm asking you, will you please heal me now? For me, for my wife, for my children, for those around me. And it was a process of learning, reading, praying, um, and going through a couple life experiences that I felt like it was the journey, and it didn't happen overnight. It actually took a, but the first step was having the awareness. The second step was me asking God to help heal me, and then the third step was actually doing things about it.
Okay, it's a I can see how that it's a very valuable experience. When we apply to our own personal life. How do you think this whole thing come into play when we're talking about business and sales in general?
Well, I think that having a true care for people, not just results, ends in results. So when I genuinely care about somebody else for their well being and I'm listening to them, not just with my ears, but with my heart, like, what are they telling me? What are they not telling me? I'm reading facial expressions. Somebody could be like, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm fine." They're not fine. Because if their voice goes down, usually they're not doing fine. They're not doing well. So when I actually care that people are doing well, that people are getting what they want in life, instead of just treating people, like just products, like they're just here to serve me somehow, it gets all twisted. But when I'm genuinely here to serve other people, then they feel connected to me. They want to do business with me. They trust me, and that's what has helped. I've always been, I'm the same person. I haven't changed, It's like this. I'm glad I have this here. You see this? So this is a basketball, and I'm going to dribble it. It didn't come back up. Why? Because there's something missing on the inside. There's not enough air. See how I can squeeze it? So I didn't physically on the outside change, but what inside happened as I fit on the inside, and now I'm doing my purpose because I'm complete. I'm full, and I believe that's why my life work is to work on the inside of people, their mind, their heart, their spirituality, and when you can get people to keep growing and developing inside, it's going to help them live out their purpose, their mission, the reason why they exist. And that's why I do what I do every day.
So some people, let me share a little bit of my experience. So some people, if not everybody, is open to sharing their internal or their inner thoughts with people, right? So sometimes I meet with clients. Some clients they're probably like the personality probably like high D. So when I try to go through the discovery process with them, so why are you doing this? What's your personality type? Who are you doing this for? Sometimes they get pretty annoying. They're like, "Why are you talking about all this? I'm just trying to buy a property." how do you open up somebody like that?
Yes. So for somebody that's a high D, they're fast paced, right? They want the results. And so sometimes what I might say is, hey, the reason I'm asking you these questions is because I want to make sure I have the full story. I know that you want to have results, and I want to make sure I'm not missing anything because I want to be thorough. So that's why I'm going to ask you a few of these questions. I'm not trying to slow down the process. I'm doing this to serve you well. And I think when we carry that approach to people, I think they respect that. I think they appreciate it. I think they're thankful. They're not used to it. So sometimes it may be worth just saying it out loud. Like, probably going to ask you some questions that maybe you haven't thought about before, and that's okay. But the only reason I'm doing this is because I want to make sure I'm not missing anything because I really want to take care of you. Then if they still don't have anything to say, then just go with it.
So I'm kind of going off topic for quite a while now, but I think it's pretty good because I'm very curious about what you do, so that I just ask whatever question that I feel like I have a question mark for. So I'm gonna go back to the interview questions. So what is something you have failed at?
How much time do you have? I'm serious. I have tried so many things in life and business. I'm a true entrepreneur. And what I mean by that is I have 20 ideas before I have breakfast. I mean, I'm thinking about so many things all the time. And I think that they're good ideas. And I try things and then nothing happens or there's no results. But I've failed and I have a different mindset when it comes to failing. I look at it as anytime I don't get a result that I want, that's just part of my learning process. I don't look at it as like I either won or I lost. I think either I'm winning or I'm dominating or I'm learning. So I don't really think about life as far as a failing. I see it more as a process of, okay, well, I know that doesn't work, so I got to keep trying to figure out what does work. But as far as missing the mark, messing things up, I mean, I mess up every day. We're human. We're a hot mess. We try to do our best, but there's things I don't get to. There's finances sometimes. Like right now, I'm going through a tough time financially. I've been there before. It's okay. Like, it's just part of the journey. It's like the stock market. You're going to have your ups and your downs, but over time, hopefully, you can see that the line's going up generally. You are going to have your ups and downs, and that's in relationships. Sometimes I'm really getting along with my wife, and then we have an argument, and then sometimes I start reading a book or I start being more intentional. My kids, my team. I mean, you name it, that's life. We're just going to have ups and downs. I don't think anyone ever just goes straight up. I mean, if there's somebody out there, then they're better than me.
So if anybody that wants to have some kind of growth, they're bound to fail initially, right? Because
Yeah, you're going to go through the learning process. You know, when somebody wants to improve something, they might see instant results, and then all of a sudden it comes down a little bit, because usually when things are going well, we start backing off a little bit, and that's when we start getting in trouble. So when things are going well, we got to make sure we're keeping our eye on things, and that's why it's important that we're doing the things that are most important to us, because we can't do everything. And that's another lesson I had to learn, that I failed early on. I was trying to be everything to everybody, and I can't do everything. So I have to start building a team. I have to rely on other people. I have to trust more people. I remember it was huge whenever I hired my first employee, because I trust myself, but to trust somebody else, that takes a whole nother level. I mean, they could mess this up. I have to pay them to mess up, and that's a whole nother level. But you know, I've learned that you just got to keep moving. You just got to enjoy the journey and do the best that you can.
yeah, to circle back on the main subject. So if whatever that you are doing, you always have your eye fixed on the ultimate why. Failing wouldn't be to fail. Wouldn't be that horrible. Wouldn't be that bad, right? Because it's just something you have to go through to get to what you really wanted, right?
Yeah, the ultimate failure would to be successful in something that you don't think is important.
So that's I like what you talked about. Many useful subjects. So what are you curious about right now?
I'm curious about the future, where things are going to be heading for my business and my team, and the people we're going to serve. There's a couple different places that things could go. So 3, 5 years from now, even 18 months, I'm really curious, where are we headed? Because I'm doing a lot of the groundwork right now, analyzing, and I'm basically getting in the helicopter, looking at all the long-term trajectories before I go down and make a decision. So I'm really curious about which one I'm going to pick in our team and which way we're going to head, because I'm really excited about that.
Uh, so about your new opportunities, right?
What'd you say? I missed that part.
So about your new opportunities.
What's
Okay.
that, Ray? Sorry, it's
Next question. So is there anything else I should have asked about Dinan?
yeah. There's two things to think about. So I'm 43, and how old are you, Ray?
I'm the same age as you. I'm 43 too.
Okay, perfect. So this is a question for both of us. Think about when you were about 8, 9, or 10 years old. When you were a little guy, when all of life was still ahead of you. If that young boy could come and you could interview him right now, if I could sit down with little Dion, you could sit down with little Ray, what would you want to tell him now? All that you've learned, all that you've been through, what would you be proud of little Ray? What would you want to tell him now?
You mean life lessons or what?
Yeah, I mean, what would you say? I'm proud of you because, and life lessons, what would you want to teach him, little Ray, if you could talk to him now?
So if I were to teach him, I would probably say I'm proud of you because you uh, never give up, and you always try your best to, and you always you don't put a limit on yourself. So that's probably I would tell him. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you'd be very encouraging to him. You'd be very proud of him. And that's one of the questions I think about. If I could spend time with little Dion, I'd just put my arm around him and I'd be like, man, you're going to go through some really tough times, but hang in there. It's going to get better. You're going to have an amazing life. Uh, just just hang in there, you know? And that's the one side. And then on the other side of life, you and I are 43. Imagine life when we're 60 or 73, 20, 30 years from now. If you and I could talk to that older, wiser Ray, that older, wiser Dion, like right now at 43, and we're talking to the 73-year-old, what do I hope that he would be able to tell me now? What do you hope Ray at 73, if you could talk to him today, what do you hope he would tell you for the next 30 years to get you moving?
You mean like an advice that my older version of myself would be likely to tell
Yeah.
me?
Yes.
Uh, I would say so. One of the things is definitely like what you know lectured us on the conference. It's to which you also touched upon in the beginning of this interview, which is it's always the who, right? It's your starting point should always be the who, right? Whatever that I'm doing, who am I doing it for? So that's probably important. Yeah, very important. Yeah,
Yes. So that's the other side. I like thinking about who was I as a boy? Who am I today? And who do I hope to become? And when I can line those all up, that's like my message, my mission, my people, they're going to be different from Ray, from you. So I don't need to try to be like you. I need to be the best version of myself. I want to maximize my life, my potential. I want you to maximize your life. I want you to get at the end of your life and look back and not have regret, but have a smile and say, man, I'm so glad that I did that. And I'm so glad that I tried that. And boy, wasn't that hilarious that, I thought this was going to work and it didn't, but it turned into this beautiful thing. And man, yeah, I'm really frustrated that this thing didn't work out the way I thought, but I kept pushing on, and here I am. Like, that's the kind of life I want to be able to look back and be proud of myself and say, you lived your life. You did the best you can and keep going on. And hopefully we can bring other people along interested in the same things.
um, yeah, exactly. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited about like taking your class and have a more clarity on what I wanted to do. Because as you were talking, I was thinking about in my practice. I was thinking about two scenarios. Okay, so one scenario would be I'm just working, for the next paycheck, and another scenario it's I have after the home is sold, I have really helped somebody. I really helped a family to get what they want, right? And as I compare those two results, the secondary result, which is that I helped the family in one form or another, it just so much more fulfilling, rather than just
Yes.
earning a commission check.
Yes. And isn't it awesome? It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both. But if we're only focusing on us, then it feels lopsided. But when we really care about other people, we benefit from that too. That's what's exciting.
Yeah. So I want to circle back to what you just, what we just talked about, what you just talked about the whole time. Because I think because the audience for this show is more toward to people in the sales industry, in the sales and marketing industry. So we have a lot of people that are suffering out there. many people they're not doing very well in their business. Um, when you said it, it sounds so obvious. It's so simple, but yet a lot of people just cannot flip their perspective because a lot of people in their mind is like how much money I'm gonna make, how many commission check I'm gonna get. So a lot of people are suffering out there is exactly because this kind of mentality, right? This kind of a selfish mentality. So most people are not. So a lot of people are thinking, how can I make more money? How can I make more commission check? But if anybody that come to watch later on when they watch our show, would they really get it? But I don't expect them to really get the whole thing from just this 1 hour interview. If they really want to really get it on how exactly the whole thing works, they need to really to call you up and have you do a full session with them for them to really get that. Because I did attend your conference and I see how powerful this whole thing is. It's not only makes me more fulfilling in my work, but it's also financially it's also making a big impact. I can truly see it, and I
Yeah.
see the change in my business, how that has made a huge difference. So I want to thank you for coming to. Actually, before I say that, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, yeah. If you're asking how can people do that, they can contact me. They can work with me or one of my coaches, and the first call's free. It's a free consultation. That way, they don't have to feel like what they can ask any questions that they may have, and we'll design something for you for your team. Like Rudy, he brings me out, and I can work either over the phone or I can come to locations and I can work with just the owner. I can work with the entire team. Rudy cares about all the people on his team, so that's why he brings me out to speak to everybody. And so there's some people that they just want to do this for themselves, and that's okay too. You can get personal coaching, to figure out your why and to figure out what are the most important things, who are the most important, what is my mission. And if somebody's chasing after money, I'd still say there's a reason why. Well, I want to pay my bills. Okay. I want to have a nice car. I want to have a boat. I want to have vacation. Okay, but there's still more. Why? Why do you want all those things? And at the end of the day, I think it's either going to come back to, well, just because I feel good about myself. It's all about me. And that's okay. That's where people are at, and that's why they're working so hard. But I think there can be more than that. I think it can be about you and it can be about other people. And that's what excites me, that we can be blessed and we can be a blessing to other people.
So what you said about Rudy, so he has a big heart, right? So he wants everybody on the team to get the benefit. To really understand not just the benefit, but to truly understand how this whole paradigm can be. It really for a lot of people it is truly a paradigm shift, right? So he's big heart enough to want to make sure that everybody gets it. So you said some people they don't want to do it; they just want themselves to do it. But when you compare those two people, who's gonna do? Who's gonna be more prosperous? It's gonna be the person that's very open-minded, right? That wants to have everybody to get it, right? Because when everybody on your team get it, then you're gonna grow much more,
Yes.
much faster, right? Because yeah, so it's kind of counterintuitive, but if they're saying that the more you give, the more you get. But I'm not trying to say teach you how to get more. I'm just saying that the law of nature really works that way, right?
Yes.
So okay, thank you for coming to the Ray Chen show today. and I really appreciate you sharing your success with our audience, and wish you and your family a happy and successful years to come. So again, today we had the pleasure of chatting with Mr. Dion John Hunt. You're a great coach. Uh, so I know you just shared about how we can reach you, how you can help us. Can you you share more how they can contact you? What's the phone number? What's the web address?
Sure.
How can
So
they be in touch with
yes.
you?
Well, thanks for again, Ray, for having me, and I'm so excited about how your future is going to be impacted. So I'm really excited. I hope we can follow up with one another and you know see how that's going for you. But if somebody would like to call, it's 865-446-0353. Again, that's 865-446-0353. Or they can visit us on our Facebook page. It's Improving Life Center. Or they can go to our website, improvinglifecenter.com.
Okay, perfect. So to all the listeners and to all the viewers out there, I want to thank you for attending the Ray Chin Show. We will have more awesome guests to come, and please click to like and subscribe to our show. I'll see you guys again. So thank you so much, Dion. So we'll keep in touch. I enjoy your posts on your Facebook too. So until next time.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.